Hey YouTube fam, welcome back. I'm really excited to bring a spicy, playful Vinyasa practice to you today. Before we do, just a couple of reminders whether you are new here or you've practiced all the YouTube offerings that I have. I do have a yoga membership website called the Kula where I upload classes 3 times per week. So if you like what I put out here on YouTube, you can get longer and more frequent practices over in the Kula. I'm also getting ready to launch my 2023 lineup of retreats and teacher trainings. I will have 4 international retreats, a couple things happening within the US, a 200-hour teacher training, and an advanced teacher training continuing education module. So those are coming up. I do have scholarship spots available to everything that I offer in person. You can find updates on all of these things on my website, thecollectivekula.com. I will put it below. You can follow along with me over on Instagram at Nicole Collective and at the Collective Kula. In the meantime, join me for a fun and spicy and playful Vinyasa practice. We're actually just going to get started here in a seat. So come to seated on the shins with the big toes together, the knees together. We're going to start by interlacing our fingers and circling out the wrists. Circling out in one direction, and then swap it out, circle them out in the other. Even here, just starting to find the rhythm of your inhales and your exhales, starting to bring all the layers of you onto your mat. So not just physical body, but in the heart and in the mind and in the energetic layers of the body. Can you pull yourself here? And in an attunement to starting to move with the breath on an exhale, let's press the palms forward, keep the interlace of the hands round through the back body. Back of the heart presses into the space behind you as shoulder blades pull away from each other. On your inhale, pull the heart through, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. Keep pressing up through the palms, but now you're also pulling the pinkies behind you. It's like you could touch the pinkies to an imaginary wall right behind the back body. On your exhale, curl in, round, press the palms forward. So this is active, like you're trying to press the palms through an imaginary wall now in front of you. And then open it up, inhale, lift the tailbone, pinkies pull back. One more time, exhale, curl in. As chin pulls in, back of the heart reaches behind, palms press in front, and then open it up. Tailbone lifts, chin lifts, gaze lifts, pinkies pull behind. Release the interlace of the hands. Just for a moment, we're gonna round forward, clasp opposite shoulders, and chin pulls in towards chest. And then on an in-breath, we're gonna cactus out the arms as we open up. Fingertips are active. On your exhale, reach around opposite arm on top, holding onto opposite shoulders, round through the back body. And then open it back up, arms to cactus, heart pulls through. Come back through a neutral spine. We're going to start to fire up the core, planting the hands right around the knees, maybe fingers a little bit in front of the knees. Ground into all 10 finger pads and knuckle pads. We're pressing into the tops of the toes. Squeeze the thighs together and then lift up, thighs into the rib cage, back of the heart presses towards sky. And then release, shins back down. We're going for 10. So lift up and then release. Here's 8, back down, 7, release, 6. It's okay if you're not with my pace. Here's 5, back down, 4, release, 3, let it go, final 2. Last one, we're holding at the top, holding for 5. Turn the insides of the elbows forward, press the floor away, holding for 3. Remembering to breathe here, squeeze knees together, thighs together, last breath. And then release knees to the floor. Lean the upper body back, plant the fingertips behind you, sending the knees down towards the floor as you find just a little bit of a lift with the hips to find length in the front of the thighs and in the front of the hips. Then we can keep the fingertips planted, drop the glutes into the heels as you maybe lift the knees from the floor just a little bit, getting a stretch for the front of the ankles. Release, knees back down, shift forward, tabletop position, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Any little movements that call you right away here? A little shift of the hips side to side, maybe right into some movements in the spine. Eventually we're gonna find our way through neutral. Kick the right leg long behind you, right foot flexes out. On your exhale, send the right leg off to the right side of the mat. We're gonna drop the foot to the floor, and then on an exhale, walk both hands over towards the right foot. Right toes can peel from the mat. Option number one is to stay right here. Actually, option number one is to stay back in center. This could be option number two. Option number three is to bend and straighten through the right leg. So bending the right knee and sending the hips forward so that the wrists come underneath shoulders, and then straighten out. Bend. Straighten out. Even if the straighten out requires that you keep a little bend into the right knee, that's just fine. Take one more round. And then coming back to a straight leg, or straight-ish. Plant into the left hand, open the right fingertips up towards the ceiling, kind of finding a funky little twist here. And then drop the right hand back down to the mat. Walk the hands back through center, wrists under shoulders. We're gonna lift the right leg, and then swing the right leg behind you until the right knee comes behind the left knee. Wrists stay under shoulders, knees hug into each other. A couple cycles of cat-cow. In breath, open the collarbones, lift tailbone, lift gaze. Exhale, round through the back body. In breath, open up. Exhale, curls you in. Find one more on your own, maybe closing the eyes. And then finding your way through a neutral spine. Keep the knees as they are, the feet as they are. We're gonna send the hips back towards the heels without bringing the hips all the way to the mat. Walk the hands maybe a little closer to the top of the mat so you're really encouraging length down the side bodies and into the low back. And then round through the back body as you shift back up through center, unravel into your tabletop position, knees under hips. Wrists under shoulders, little shift side to side. And then we get to do it all on the other side. So start by kicking the left leg long behind you, left foot flexes out. Swing the left leg over to the left side of the mat so that the ankle is in line with the hips. Drop the foot to the floor. Option one is that you stay right here. This might already feel like a stretch for the inner left thigh. If it's available, lift left toes from the mat as you walk the hands towards the left foot. You can stay tucked onto the right toes for stability. You can hang out right here, or you could bend and straighten through the left leg. So even here, connecting your movement with your breath. Even if on the straight leg it requires that you keep a bend into the knee, that's also just fine. But just finding some movement here, alternating between stretching the hip and getting deeper into the hamstrings. Eventually, we'll come back to where we started, so straight or straight-ish through the left leg. Right hand stays planted, maybe onto the fingertips. Open up the left shoulder, left fingertips extend towards sky. Drop the left hand down. Walk the hands back through center, wrists underneath the shoulders. Lift the right leg. Swing the left leg all the way around until the knee lands behind the right knee. And then holding here in the center to start a couple cycles of cat-cow. Inhale to open collarbones, lift tailbone, lift gaze. Exhale, round through the back body. Take one more round. Finding your way back through neutral, send the hips back to the heels or towards the heels, keeping the hips lifted from the mat. Walk the fingertips forward. So with your hands staying rooted, but also extending the hips towards the mat to find length down the back side of the body. In breath, pulls you back up, wrists underneath the shoulders, unravel so that the knees land underneath the hips, little shift side to side. I'm gonna start to build a little bit of heat, a little bit more heat coming to the hands. Let's tuck onto the toes, lifting the knees just into a plank pose so that the wrists come underneath the shoulders. Stay here and hold, or come up onto the right fingertips and then back down. 4 more times, right fingertips, back down. 3. Keep the hips as stable as possible, release, final 2. Back down, last one, hold. Stay here or extend right arm forward. Stay here or left toes lift. If you want to get really spicy with it, cactus out the right arm and bring the left knee to the left elbow. And then extend long. Plank pose, come back through center. Come onto the left fingertips. And then release. You can always hold here, left fingertips. And release. You can also bring knees down if needed. Left fingertips, back down, final 2. Release. Last one, hold. Stay here or keeping hips as stable as possible. Left arm reaches, maybe right toes lift. Stay wherever you're at, or last super spicy option, cactus out left elbow as you bring right knee to the right elbow. And then extend back out long. Plank pose, wrists under shoulders, pause. Bend into the elbows, come all the way down to the belly, untuck the toes. Hands come wider than the mat, tent out the fingertips. I promise a down dog is coming. Pressing into fingertips on your inhale, lift the heart. Find your breath here, shoulders onto back body, engage into the glutes. Let your exhale roll you back down through center. 2 more times, movement with your breath. Inhale pulls you up. Exhale, surrender back down. 1 more time, inhale to lift. Exhale, release. Slide the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck onto the toes. Your choice whether the knees are grounded or whether they lift at this point. We're gonna press up through a high plank and then send the hips back. Our first down dog of practice, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Couple moments here just to move. Bend into one knee, bend into the other knee. Maybe shift side to side. Doesn't have to look like anything. It doesn't have to look like a pose with a name attached to it. It's just meant to feel good in the body. Take a big inhale, come through center. As you take a breath in, fill up, puff up through the back body. Maybe shift higher onto the toes. And then as you exhale, kick the heels towards the floor and invite the heart back towards the tops of the thighs. On your inhale, sweep the right toes high. On your exhale, right knee into the chest, step the foot through between the hands. Drop the left knee to the floor as you inhale, upper body lifts. Exhale, cactus out the arms, open up the heart. We're gonna lift the left knee from the mat. As you do, release the back bend, shift forward with the upper body, bring palms to touch at heart center. And then inhale up through standing, high crescent lunge, upper body lifts. Exhale, cactus out the arms, open up the heart. Exhale, reach forward, palms come to touch. Kick off of the left toes, warrior 3 with the right knee bent. So spine parallel to the floor, right knee is bent and you're really engaged down the right side or the right leg. Straighten through the right leg, Veerabhadrasana 3. Step the left foot next to the right as you lift upper body, palms come to touch overhead, pull the heart through the shoulders. Exhale, release all the way down, Uttanasana, forward fold. In breath, halfway lift, fill up through the back body. Exhale, fold, plant hands, step back, plank pose. Bend in lower half, hold it. Drop the knees down if you need to. Engage into the core. Press the backs of the thighs up towards ceiling. Upward facing dog, pull through. Exhale, downward facing, roll over the toes and the hips up and back. Inhale, left toes lift. Exhale, knee into the chest. Step the foot through. Right knee to the floor as the upper body lifts. Press the hips down and forward to start. And then on an exhale, as you cactus out the elbows, peel the heart through, shoulder blades squeeze together on the back body. As we release the back bend, bring palms to touch at the heart, lift the right knee. Back of the right thigh presses up towards ceiling. And then inhale, upper body lifts, high crescent lunge. Exhale, cactus out the arms, open up the heart. Exhale, shift forward with the upper body, palms touch at heart center as you lift the right toes, but keep the left knee bent, bent leg warrior 3. Ground into the left heel, take an in-breath. On your exhale, straighten out through the left leg. Spine parallel to the floor, right leg parallel to the floor. In-breath all the way to standing, right foot plants next to the left foot as the upper body lifts, fingertips reach. Exhale, dive it forward, Uttanasana, fold. In-breath, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, plant hands, plank pose, step back. Lower half, hover and hold it. Knees can drop to the floor if you need them to at any time. This is also why I remind you where I remind you that everything I say is optional. Pull through upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing. Shift over the toes, send the hips up and back. Take a big inhale, puff up through the back of the lungs. Exhale, traction the heart towards the thighs. Come up onto the toes. Bend into the knees. Exhale, step, walk, hop, or play. Feet land at the top of the mat, fold. In-breath to halfway lift. Extend through the crown of the head. Exhale, fold. In-breath, rise. Come all the way up through standing. On your exhale, dive it all the way back down. Find your fold, Uttanasana. In-breath, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant hands. Your movement to a downward dog. So you could add a crow pose here if you wanted to. You could add a vinyasa. You could add a handstand or another inversion. You could skip it all and go straight there. Or you could add a child's pose in along the way. Let's go just one more round of a sun A before we get into our main sequences. On your exhale, feet, step, walk, hop, or play, landing at the top of the mat. In-breath, halfway lift, fill up. Exhale, let it go, move it through. In-breath, rise, come all the way up through, standing, palms touch. Exhale, come all the way back down, find your fold, Uttanasana. In-breath, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold, plant hands, your vinyasa, including option for an inversion or an arm balance. Whatever you'd like along your way to a down dog. No right or wrong way to get there. Come up onto the toes, take a bend into the knees. On your exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet, top of the mat, fold. In-breath to halfway lift. On your exhale, just for a moment, we're gonna fold, bend the knees, and bring the palms underneath the feet so that the toes come into the wrist creases. Giving the wrists a little bit of a break just for a moment. Letting upper body fold forward. Finding the breath. One more round here, and then we're coming into our main sequence for today's practice. Bring the left hand to the left hip. You can bend as deeply in the knees as you need to here. Bring the right peace sign fingers to the big toe, holding on to the toe here. We're gonna shift our weight into the left foot. Take a soft bend into the left knee just so you can find a lot of stability in the left leg. We're gonna come all the way to standing, bring the right leg with you. It's okay if the right knee is bent. And then once you're there, get solid underneath the left foot. We're gonna keep the right leg extended. Bring palms to touch at the heart. On your inhale, we're gonna cactus out the arms. Open the shoulders, or pull the shoulders together on the back body. On your exhale, we're gonna pull the elbows to touch, just the elbows, just the elbows, just the elbows. And then the palms to touch. And then the fingertips to touch. And then on your exhale, cross the right ankle over the left knee, send the hips back and the heart forward. Squeeze the elbows into each other. Even if they don't come all the way to touch, squeeze them towards each other. Send the hips back, reach the crown of the head forward. Lift the upper body enough that you can unravel. Step the right toes to the back of the mat. Keep the elbows pulling towards each other as the right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. Just pausing here for a moment. Take an inhale. On your exhale, now you're going to press into the knee, peel the elbows apart, and twist the heart open. Left shoulder to stack on top of the right. Thumbs are towards the sternum. On your inhale, lift the upper body, keep the twist. Keep the thumbs to the sternum as much as you can. Extend the fingertips long in both directions. And then on your inhale, unwind, warrior two. Right foot spins flat. Arms reach long. Moment to meet this shape. Staying in connection to the breath. On your inhale, Skandasana, hips on top of right heel at the back of the mat. You can always use your hands for support. On your next in-breath, we're going to come all the way up, warrior two. Left knee stacks on top of left heel, fingertips reach. And then right into your reverse. Right hand, right thigh, left fingertips up and over. Exhale, cartwheel the hands, frame out the left foot. Step back, three-legged plank. Option to stay here or come up onto right fingertips. Stay here or right fingertips reach. Stay here or elbow and knee to touch. And then extend back long. Plank pose. Meet the shape before you leave it. Maybe a vinyasa. Or send the hips straight back. Downward facing dog. On an exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet. Top of the mat, fold. In breath, halfway lift, fill up the lungs. Exhale, fold. Bend into the knees as much as you need to bring palms under the feet. Toes towards the wrist creases, elbows out towards the edges of the mat. Drop the head, soften the jaw, let this feel good. Maybe an open mouth exhale. When you're ready to move, right hand to the right hip. Left peace fingers wrap around the left big toe. Find weight in the right foot. And then slow, come all the way to standing. Bring the left leg with you. It's totally fine if you've got a bend in the left knee. All right, we're getting spicy. Left leg stays extended. Bring palms to touch at the heart. Start by opening the arms to a cactus. Shoulder blades squeeze together. And then exhale, pull the elbows to touch first. Just the elbows. And then the palms. And then the fingertips. Exhale, left ankle over right knee. Send the hips back, send the heart forward. Keep squeezing the elbows towards each other, even if they don't come all the way to touch. Hips back, heart forward. Big inhale. Exhale to sink into the shape. Fill up the lungs. Lift the upper body enough to create space for the left toes to step to the back of the mat, left elbow to the outside of the right knee. On your exhale, press the elbow into knee, separate the elbows apart from each other as you spin the heart open. Back of the left thigh presses up towards ceiling. Keep the twist as you lift the upper body. Keep the twist as you extend arms long in both directions. Unravel the twist as you open up, warrior two. Back foot spins flat. Right knee reaches for the top of the mat. Heart twists open towards the back of the mat. In breath, Skandasana, hips on top of left heel. You can always use your hands for support as you need on the floor. And then right back up, Veerabhadrasana 2. Right knee reaching over right ankle, fingertips long. Inhale, reverse, left hand, left thigh, right arm up and over. On your exhale, cartwheel the hands, frame out the right foot, three-legged plank, step back. Stay here or left fingertips. Stay here or left arm reaches. Stay here or elbow and knee to touch. It's always okay to fall and come back in, that's part of the process. Extend back out long. Plank pose. Even when it's challenging, meet the shape before you move through it. Vinyasa. Eventually meeting with the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. One more sequence. Parts of it will feel familiar from the last sequence. Parts of it will feel different. And then we'll start to slow things down. On an inhale, sweep the right toes high. On your exhale, left knee comes all the way to the floor, three-legged table. Bend into the elbows, lower the chin and chest to tap, and then press back up. Retuck the left toes, lift the left knee, three-legged down dog. Right knee into the chest, step the foot through between the hands. Shift to the right foot, keep the right knee bent, bent leg warrior three. Ground into the right heel, palms are to touch at the heart for now. We're gonna straighten through the right leg. In breath, come up to standing, left knee into the chest. We're gonna pause here. Cactus out the arms, shoulder blades onto the back body. We're not back bending in this shape, we're isolating the shoulders. So shoulders squeeze together. Pull the elbows towards each other. Elbows to touch first, and then palms, and then fingers. Now see if you can compress the left hip by bringing left knee up towards left elbow. And then squeeze elbow into knee, knee back into elbow, hold. As much as you can, you're pressing elbow into knee, knee back into elbow. Take an inhale. On your exhale, lever the left leg to the back of the mat as you twist to the right, left elbow, right knee. Spin the heart open. Right shoulder to stack on the left. In breath, lift up, keep the twist. Extend the fingertips long in both directions. Inhale, unravel, warrior two. Back foot spins flat. Skandasana, back of the mat, hips on top of left heel, right leg straight. This time all the way to your half moon as you bend into the right knee. Plant the right foot. Right hand to the block, the floor, or to a hover. Option for Chapasana, bending into the left knee, holding onto the outside edge of the left foot. All just options. Release left foot if you've got it. We're gonna play here with bringing palms to touch at heart center. And just once on your exhale, shift the left hip down as much as you can. Take a bend into the right knee. And then open all the way back up, half moon. Extend the arms back out long. Bend into the right knee. Reverse your warrior. Left hand, left thigh, right arm up and over. Exhale, cartwheel it out. Step back, three-legged plank. Come up onto the left fingertips. Option to extend left arm forward. This time option to bring right knee to the right elbow. Left hand drops. Kick the right foot back. Three-legged down dog. Stay here or lower the forearms to the floor, three-legged dolphin. Plant into the finger pads, whether you're in down dog or dolphin. Traction the heart through upward facing dog. Shoulders onto back body. Exhale up and back. Downward facing Adho Mukha Svanasana. Same sequence, second side, and then we slow things down. I am getting sweaty. On your in-breath, sweep the left toes high. Exhale, right knee drops all the way to the floor. Bend into the elbows, lower chin and chest. Press back up. Lift right knee, three-legged down dog. Exhale, knee into the chest, step the foot all the way through. Keep the bend in the left knee. Palms to touch at heart. Lift the right toes, bent leg warrior three. Ground into the left heel, use your exhale to straighten left leg. In breath, pulls you all the way to standing. Right knee into the chest. Cactus out the arms, shoulder blades squeeze together. On your exhale, pull the elbows towards each other first. Elbows to touch if you can. Wrists, palms, fingertips. See if you can pull right knee up high, and then bring the elbow, right elbow and right knee to touch, and press them into one another, creating resistance. Keep the elbows pulling towards each other. Take an inhale. On your exhale, right toes step to the back of the mat as right elbow works its way to the outside of the left knee. Press into the elbow, twist open the heart. Left shoulder to work towards stacking on top of the right. Ground into the left heel. In breath, lift up, keep the twist. Extend the fingers long in both directions. Unravel, warrior two, right foot spins flat. Fingertips reach, a moment to meet this shape. Let your inhale bring you to the back of the mat, Skandasana, hips on top of right heel. Again, this time we're coming all the way to our half moon. So as we shift our weight back into the left foot, left hand can always come to a block, to the floor, to a hover. Start by finding your Ardha Chandrasana first, and then option to bend into the right knee, holding onto the foot, inside or outside edge, to find a kick and lengthen out right quads. If you've got the grip, we're going to release it. Extend the right leg back out long. Micro bend in the left knee to find some really solid support with the left leg. Bring palms to touch at the heart. Just one soft bend into the left knee. Dip the right hip as low as you can. And then open all the way back up. Fingertips reach long. Our next shape is reverse warrior. Take your time getting there, bending into the left knee. Right foot plants parallel. Right hand to the right thigh, left fingertips extend. Exhale brings you all the way back down. Cartwheel out, framing out the left foot. Left toes kick back, our last time here. Stay or come onto the right fingertips. Stay or right hand reaches forward. Stay or left knee to the left elbow, hold. See if you can hold it while the right hand comes back down. Kick the left toes back, three-legged down dog or three-legged dolphin. Forearms to the floor. Ground into finger pads, ground into knuckle pads. Whether you're in three-legged down dog or three-legged dolphin, we're gonna peel the elbows, pull all the way through upward facing. On your exhale, send the hips up and back, downward dog. Take a big inhale through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Soften the knees to the floor. Untuck the toes. Hands to the thighs, just for a moment. Giving ourselves a moment of rest, a moment of recovery, and also a moment of reconnection. Reconnection, you to your breath, you to your body, you to your practice. Often in these spicier practices, we walk the line of challenging ourselves, but without pulling us away from ourselves. One more breath here. Let's do it together. Inhale through the nose. Through the mouth. Big exhale. Let it go. Soft opening of the eyes as you bring the hands to interlace at the low back. Nuzzle the hands into the right rib cage. Let the right ear drop to the right shoulder. Come back through center, swap it out. Hands nuzzle into the left rib cage as the left ear drops to the left shoulder. Come back through center. See if you can work towards straightening out the arms as you squeeze the the heels of the hands towards each other, and the heart threads through. Lift the tailbone, let the thumbs traction down towards the feet or towards the floor. Release the interlace of the hands, reach forward, wrapping hands around you, so hands hold on to opposite shoulders as you round through the back body and pull the chin in towards the chest. Inhale to come back through neutral. I think we've reconnected to the breath a bit. I am so sweaty right now. This is wonderful. I hope you guys are too. We're gonna find one more round of our Lolasana press drills. So we're gonna plant the hands somewhere around the knees, maybe a little above, all in front of. Ground into finger pads, ground into knuckle pads, round of 10. Press into the tops of the toes. Exhale to lift. Inhale to release down. Exhale up. Inhale to release. Here is 8. Here's 7. Stick with it at your own pace, your own breath. If you've practiced with me long, you know I'm no good at counting, so no need to follow my count. Let's go 5 more. Final 2. Last one, we're holding for 5. Press the floor away, insides of the elbows, rotate forward, around through the back body, final 2. Last one, release, shake it out. Come up to standing on the shins, tuck onto the toes, hands to the low back, fingers point down. We are headed towards Camel Pose, but I want this to feel nice for the wrists in these first moments as well. So as much of a stretch for the wrists as anything else in this moment. Roll the shoulders onto the back body, engage the glutes, and then peel the heart open, Ustrasana, resisting the urge to go right into your deepest expression. Hang out here, let this feel good on the wrists before you go anywhere else. Eventually one hand to one heel, and then the other, if that is available and feels supported in the low back. Pull the heart through the shoulders. If you've dropped the hands to the heels, bring them back to the low back first. Bring the spine back up through center. Tall spine, reach the crown of the head long. And then untuck the toes. Come all the way into a seat. And bringing bottoms of the feet together and knees out wide. Hold on to the big toes here. Sit up really tall out of the waist. And then using your exhale, pull the heart towards the heels. The elbows press into the inner thighs. You're inviting the knees down towards the floor. And then for this shape, I want you to just completely drop the weight of the head. Maybe so much so that you're actually pulling the chin in towards the chest, which is going to bring length up the back body all the way into the back of the neck and the base of the skull. Using your inhale, come back up through center. Reach the fingertips forward. Use the strength of the core to roll all the way down the back body, landing in your Suptabata Kanasana with outside edges of the feet to the floor, bottoms of the feet together. Extend the arms out to a T. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Bring the knees towards each other. We're going to stack the right knee on top of the left knee and then pull the legs in towards body. This might be as far as you go, or hands can hold on to opposite ankles or opposite feet. So we're finding a cow face pose, but reclined. Pulling thighs in towards the rib cage, low back towards the floor, and then using your hands on the feet kind of as levers to deepen the intensity of the stretch by pulling the heels towards you or towards either side of the torso on the mat. But as you do all of these things, we want to keep the low back pretty rooted down so you're not lifting the low back in order to bring the legs closer. Release the grip that you've got on the legs and work towards the double clasp eagle legs. If that's not available, let it go. Keep the knees stacked though. Arms to a T, exhale both legs over to the left. Keep the right shoulder touching the floor as you find the twist. Maybe you drop the gaze over to the right, which brings the twist all the way up through the crown of the head. Engage into the core, inhale, unwind, and we'll find the other side. So left knee on top of right knee to start. It might be that you're just letting the thighs pull in towards the rib cage, and this is where you're at, maybe hands to the shins or to the knees. If it's available, you can walk the hands down towards the ankles or even towards the feet. And again, low back is touching the floor as you pull the thighs in. And then hands on the feet kind of as levers to deepen the intensity of the stretch. Only go as far as feels supported in the knees. Remembering your breath even here, even as we're slowing down, even as we're letting the rhythm of our practice switch and change and settle. One more cycle here. At the bottom of your exhale, release any grip that you've got with the hands. Work towards a double clasp if that's available. And then both knees drop over to the right, so letting the legs shift over to the right, while the shoulders, as much as you can, stay touching the floor. Maybe dropping the gaze towards the left. Inhale unwinds you back through center. Unravel the legs, happy baby. Knees pull towards either side of the rib cage, hands to the outside edges of the feet. Low back is reaching towards the mat. You can hang out here. You can play with bending and straightening through one or both legs. Or you could use these last moments before Shavasana to find any other shapes that you'd like before rounding out your practice. So that could be a wheel pose or a bridge pose. Could be an inversion. Eventually, we land in our Shavasana with legs extended long, arms dropped out by the sides, palms to face up. And a reminder, and if you've practiced with me before, you've heard me say this, but if you feel the urge or just notice how easy it would be to end practice now, I invite you and encourage you to join me for these last minutes in stillness, these last minutes where we get to pause. Acknowledging that Shavasana is a meditative posture that allows us to create a transition space between the practice that is on our mats and the practice that is off of our mats. It allows us to build a through line so that you can take this quality of presence with you as you go. And to know that every human that you cross paths with will benefit from your presence. And that's how you carry this practice into the world. So especially if you resist the silence and the stillness, I invite you to be with me in it. If you find the mind wandering, you can bring your awareness and your focus back to this rhythmic and cyclical in-breath and out-breath. This expansion and contraction of the lungs, which keep you in relationship to the world. So as you breathe in, you're taking in the world around you. taking in nutrients. And then on your exhales, you're breathing you back out and releasing toxins, waste. And keeping this focus on the breath, I'm going to bring us into a seat where we'll finish our practice in a really short meditation. If you'd rather stay reclined and stay in Shavasana for the remainder of practice, that is also available to you. If you're with me, I ask that you keep eyes closed on this transition up. You let your movement start just with a wiggle of the fingers and the toes. And if you feel the urge to rush through it, slow it down even more than you want to. Maybe you pull knees into the chest or roll onto a side. Lovingly, and staying with you, find your way back up to a seat. Eyes closed. You're going to want to open them, maybe. But keep them closed. Keep gaze inward. Keep connection to self. If you're at the top and you'd like to sit up onto a block or a prop that is nearby, that is available. And once again, land here. So this goes on our mats and off of our mats. Every shape that you meet or every circumstance that you meet it. Show up for it with quality of presence in the heart space, in the mind space, in the energetic layers of you. Letting yourself linger in these last moments of our practice. Check in with what's going on in the physical body. And bring palms to touch in front of you, acknowledging hands as extensions of the heart. And knowing that you get the opportunity to go out in the world and to extend your practice off of your mat. To show up to your relationships and to your work and to situations that challenge you with your presence. And I thank you for being in this practice, and I hope to move with you again soon. Namaste.